I'm Cheryl Finkel. I live in Atlanta, Georgia. I've been a head of a Solomon Schechter Jewish Day School for 20 years, and for the last 10 years stepped down from that position. So I've also been in and out. And I worked as a consultant for PEACH for 8 years, and now I'm an independent leadership consultant. For the last 14 years, well, since DSLTI started, I've been involved with it. And maybe even before that. Yossi Prager and I had many discussions in the late 90s about the issues that it was possible to resolve by leadership within a school and the issues that it was not possible to resolve because they required an infrastructure on a bigger scale. Things like, where do you find teachers? Where do we find leaders? We can train to a degree within our schools, but we really need more. And Avichai has been really responsive to that issue, trying to think about ways to influence the entire field and help schools be their best. So I feel really lucky to have been involved with that because the DSLTI program is one of the very few opportunities we've had to even put on the table, how do you prepare for the headship? What's important in a head for a Jewish day school? What do they need to bring? I think the headship is a really impactful kind of job. It has the opportunity to move things along in a very positive way, and when it doesn't go well, it has the opportunity to set things back in a school, sometimes for a really long time, particularly if you have a revolving door of leaders. And many of our schools have suffered from that kind of instability. So it's a good place to invest. You know, it's one of the places where if it's working, it's really going to help. DSLTI, I think, is unique because it is about the Jewish mission of the school. And it's not only about the other capabilities and skills that you need to develop in yourself to be a good head. The headship is very exciting because it requires more expertise than any person could have. And it's very hard because of that too. So you're always at the edge of your comfort zone in many areas because you need to be an expert in child development and you need to be an expert in teaching and learning, in performance management, in budgeting and finance, marketing, above all in communication and relationships. And I left out a few other things. Not to mention being an exemplary Jew. Some kind of an example of a Jew. That's what I mean by exemplary. I don't mean necessarily a model only, but I mean somebody who is passionately engaged in this Jewish project. Because otherwise, we don't need Jewish day schools. We need them to be about Judaism and about enabling the next generation to live in a Jewish community and to garner from that educational community the grounding that they're going to use to be full Jewish adults. And that's what it's for. So I think DSLTI puts that right at the center. I was thinking about this a lot because sometimes it almost disappears in the program. You know, the program a session might be about marketing or about board development. The question is, okay, so where is the Jewish grounding in that? I think it starts at the very beginning because we ask people in their interview process and in their essay writing when they apply about their own Jewish journey and background, and we ask them, do you have a vision for what a good Jewish day school should consist of? What should it be? And that's the basis for where we take them together, where we go together. We then look at that, and it's the beginning of the study together. Everything is about MVP, mission, vision, and philosophy. Jewish mission, Jewish vision, and Jewish philosophy. That's the basis of everything that we do. The thing that I think is also unique to DSLTI is that we don't have a recipe for what that should be. There's not one Jewish mission, vision, and philosophy that we expect a fellow to come with or come out with. Just as there's, and particularly today, maybe when the program started we could have come up with an outline, but today in this almost post-denominational world, it's really much more accepted that you wouldn't have a recipe for this. Most people who come into the program are pretty well grounded in Jews who've already been on a strong journey. But I think the way we pose that question is the same way we pose every question. so that there's more than one fruitful answer. And in fact, I think that's the hallmark of the program. We try not to come in with, here's what you need to know, but to say, okay, what do you need to know? And we say, okay, so design your Jewish mission, or design an effective parent coffee. Make the case to a donor. And of course, each person is going to make the case differently from where they come, but we want them to come up with good answers and good responses, not the same answers and the same responses. How would you develop your staff? What are the most important things? Where would you start if you're a new head? What would your first 90 days look like? I think the basic question of the program is, how is what you're going to do going to enable your students, nowadays the families of your students, to be able to live a meaningful, committed, knowledgeable, and contributing Jewish life? That's what the program is for, to make people able to do that. So it's a privilege to be part of that.